Hi guys, welcome to this week's edition of my review of the Blood Bowl Almanac. I should cover up my name so you don't know what my name is. Ooh. Okay. This week we're going to be covering the special characters. There's some really cool special characters in here. Frankly, any team's going to benefit from the addition of them, and they do add a lot of randomness and fun to the game. Basic quick word on special characters and on the special star players. They do change the game in the same way that all the cards can change the game, and they can add to the randomness of it. For some players this is fun, but other players they dislike the fact that they can work their arse off and then all of a sudden everything can change. It really is down to you and down to whoever your league commissioner is as to whether you want to include star players and how you want to include them in the game, if you're playing it for anything more than a fun game. If you're just playing it for fun games, again, it's down to two people playing it, but try it for one game, don't try it for the next game, and muck about, see what you get. But yeah, like I say, they do add another layer to the game and a reasonably solid change to the game. They're not just another character. They allow you access to skills and abilities that otherwise you wouldn't have access to in your teams. The teams in Blood Bowl, particularly the 2016 edition, are actually reasonably well balanced. There are certain teams that are A-list teams, there are certain teams that are B-list teams. I play Wood Elves myself, so I can't complain about anything anybody else brings to the field, really. The first player we have is Varrick Fairblast with his Ballzooka. The Ballzooka is this fantastic shoulder band cannon. That's one thing. Another thing I'll say about, as always with GW, amazing artwork. The artwork in Blood Bowl is actually, if anything, better than their standard quality. A lot of the time you'll see a bit of black and white artwork here, some old artwork there that is just side artwork and sketches, which is not meant to be of the highest quality. Once you get a few bits and pieces in this book, I'm just flicking forward, you've got some black and white stuff there. You've got some, little drawing of one of the guys here. None of it is anything but the absolute top quality. The absolute top quality stuff. There are of course drawings and drawings. There is of course artwork as good as this in every GW book. But the Almanac and the other Blood Bowl books literally are beginning to end gorgeous. You can really tell that you can really tell that the people who re-released and went over the rules for the 2016 edition were genuine fans. Every section of the book just screams love of the game. It's one of the reasons why you may not be familiar, but there is an organisation called the NAF. They've been playing Blood Bowl since the last edition stopped being released, all the way up to this edition, using something they were calling the Living Rulebook. They've stopped using the Living Rulebook and are now supporting this. They have their own Living Rulebook with extra bits and pieces, but when GW weren't doing it, nobody cared. When GW did start doing it, I believe they backed away from their version of the Living Rulebook and adopted as much as they could of the 2016 version, because if nothing else, that's what people were using to play and that's what got it in. Although that being said, this is very close to 3rd edition anyway. There are very few rules changes, if any. I'm guessing that's for the simple reason that 3rd edition Blood Bowl was, I'm not going to say a perfect game because no game's perfect, but it was an exceptionally well thought out, well balanced game, because the limited amount of players and the limited amount of variables, it allowed them to run the rules in a much more controlled environment and get a much more solidly balanced game out of it than perhaps 40k, where you have dozens of troop types in dozens of numbers, in almost infinite combination, to the point where you can't really foresee every variable. And you can't see every variable even in a game which is much simpler, such as Blood Bowl, but it's easier. Anyway, yeah, back to Varrick. Varrick Fairblast is a dwarf with a bazooka, which basically propels the ball down the other end of the field. Now, the rules for this are built into it. Basically, what it does is it gives him additional skills. Varrick Fairblast comes with Hail Mary Pass, Loner, Pass, Secret Weapon, Strong Arm, Sure Hand, and Thick Skull. Hail Mary Pass is the one that allows you to make a full length of the pitch pass. Pass just allows you to make passes and get rerolls. Strong Arm adds a bonus to your pass rolls. Sure Hands adds a bonus to your pickup rolls. No, it's a bonus. Sure Hands allows you to re-roll your pickup rolls, sorry. And Thick Skull just allows you to stay conscious on a roll of 8. He's 60,000 gold pieces, so he's not that expensive. There are several players that are just base level players on most teams that are 60,000. He comes with a lot of set of rules. He doesn't have anything like block or dodge. So apart from the Thick Skull, he has to rely on his armor for protection. He's got movement allowed of 6, strength and agility of 3, which aren't bad. They're not good, but they're not bad. And an armor value of 8, so he has reasonably reliable armor. It's not the best in the game, but you can see him taking some damage. Ideally, if you're bringing him into play, he's going to be picking up the ball and lobbing it down the other end of the pitch in such a way as hopefully he won't be too much the target of his opponents. So all in all, a fantastic little player. Again, as we have with the teams, we've got a little explanation of who he is, a little story behind him, and then a brief history of what he's done and how he's done it. A little red bit there explaining why, so far, he's the only person to have actually perfected the bazooka. Everybody else is, and other dwarves and possibly non-dwarves have tried it, much to their chagrin and usually death. Next, we have a Skaven special player, which is Glut Smash. Now, Glut is unusual in the Skaven that he's very slow, because he's a fat bastard, basically, a bit like me. He's 6 foot tall, which is huge for a Slayer, for a Skaven. He's not actually a rat ogre. He is just a huge Skaven, big, fat, round, and he is just a tough, vicious bastard, which is something the Skaven don't really have too many of. They rely on their sneakiness, their speed, and their ability to hit, rather than their ability to take damage. So Glut provides them with some much needed muscle. There's some nice story. There's some nice bits and pieces around him. Little conversation piece there that gives you some flavour. Again, the background of his history. The skills he brings to the table are block, claw, grab, juggernaut, loner, and stand firm. Most of these players will have loner because they're not used to. The idea is they're not used to playing with your teams. So using team rerolls and the like will require a bit more effort. Block allows him to be a little more tough and allow him to reroll blocks. Claw, what the hell does claw do? Oh yeah. Claw and grab will allow him to be much more vicious and much nastier. I believe claw means that you're taking people out on 8 regardless of their armor class. Grab, I believe, means you can stop and go past. Juggernaut, I'd have to look Juggernaut up. I'm just going to quickly reference the back there. No, what's frenzy, A, B, C, D, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, J, 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 J. If a player makes a blitz action, opposing players may not use their fend, stand firm, or wrestle skills against the Juggernaut player's block. So basically, he makes a blitz action, he gets a block, he gets a reroll, and a lot of the skills that would counter block don't work against him. I'm just going to confirm that claw because frankly I don't want to get it wrong. Yeah. Claw goes through armor on a roll of 8 regardless of the armor, which against high armor teams like Dwarves, Chaos All-Stars, not Chaos All-Stars, Chaos Chosen and other guys that are really stacked with that armor is very useful. He's basically a Skaven killer. He's only got a movement allowance of 5, which is which is slower than normal for a Skaven. They are one of the faster teams. His stand firm also means that he can choose to move or not move. So he's basically a nice rock around which to base your team, or a nice hitter to punch holes in the enemy for Skaven. He's actually really quite good. I'm going to say that a lot about these special characters. They're actually really quite good. You've got Creek Rust Gouger, the Verminator. Again, nice bit of flavour text, a brief history of his career. He is another, he's another Skaven tank, another Skaven damager. He's a secret weapon, which is basically he's a cyborg. The skills he brings are Ball and Chain, Loner, Mighty Blow, No Hands, Prehensile Tail, and Secret Weapon. Obviously, the Secret Weapon means that on a specific roll you'll get taken off the pitch. Mighty Blow means you add 1 to the either the armor penetration or the yeah, one of those to the hit or to the armor penetration. I'm just gonna check Ball and Chain because it's not one I have gone up against a lot. I've played a ton of this stuff, but not played against many of the special characters. Well, so I'm looking for B for Ball and Chain. I will do a lot of this. Apologies if I'm saying Ball and Chain. Players armed with the Ball and Chain can only make move actions. To move, go for it. To move or go for it, place the throw template over the player facing. Oh, right. It's basically this game the same as the Goblin for Nags. He's got a massive ball, and then the ball leads him around rather than that. If you ever gets knocked down or placed prone, you roll immediately for injury. So it's got its pluses and its minuses. If it goes into a person, it blocks them, and the normal rules for blocking. It ignores the effects of foul appearance. If the Ball and Chain moves into a square that's occupied by a prone or stun player, the prone or stun player is merely pushed back. So basically, he just swings his ball, this massive ball around, and follows it around the pitch. Where have we? No Hands and Prehensile Tail. I've literally just lost that page again. Usually I mark them out, but I haven't this one. No Hands. The player is able to pick up, intercept, or carry the ball. The player is unable to pick up, intercept, or carry the ball because he has no hands. Yeah. He can't do anything you'd expect to do with hands. Catch rolls are automatically failed. So this guy is purely for damaging the opponents. He can't make plays. He's not going to be able to pass. He's not going to be able to score, and he will cause turnovers if he tries to catch the ball. And Prehensile Tail, pretty sure. To represent this, opposing players, there's a long Prehensile Tail. You subtract 1 from any dodge out of any of this player's tackle zones. So again, this is going to be a good guy to stop other people getting places. He's going to be a bit more random because he doesn't get to choose where he moves, the Ball and Chain does. But even elves are going to have to really go for it. Well, not really go for it, but are going to have to really take some risks to get past him with that -1. In case you're not familiar with elves, most elves have agility of 4, which means, sorry, most of the time they are, sorry, give me a second, rolling 2 up to dodge out of a tackle zone unless they're dodging into another tackle zone. To subtract 1 from that all of a sudden you're going from an almost guaranteed success to actually taking a risk. If you play against elf players, you'll know they make a lot of rolls, and often the name of the game is either making those rolls riskier or forcing them to make more rolls than they want to. Elves tend to be really skillful, really good. When they do things, a lot of the time, they're rolling 2-ups to do them. They've got a very good chance of success, and a lot of the time beating them just comes down to making them take those risks again and again and again and again and again and again and again until eventually they fail them. Either that or just pounding them into the ground and smashing them under your green-skinned fist. We've got Harkon Heartripper next. The first elven character. Let's have a look. He's a dark elf. Oh, sorry. I didn't go through Creek Rustover's skill stats there. Apologies. He's got a movement allowance of 5, strength of 7, very strong. Agility of 2, very crap. But you're not doing any catching on that. And with the ball and chain, he's going where he wants to anyway. And an armor value of 9. So again, he's a very tough to deal with tank. He has a cost of 130,000 gold pieces. Referring back to Glut Smash, he's at 190,000. So these are the expensive special players. They do a hell of a lot, but you are paying out for them. Anyway, yeah, moving on to Harkon Heartripper. Again, we've got some nice flavour text, which makes them sound awesome. A brief star profile of Harkon Heartripper. And basically, he's an awesome character. His abilities are dodge, leap, loner, multiple block, shadowing, and stab. Dodge allows you to reroll when you dodge out of things. Also, if your opponent rolls the opponent trips, a dodge can avoid that. Leap is an unmodified 3-up roll to leap. Oh, sorry, 3-up. It's an unmodified roll on your agility, with his agility 4. That's a 3-up roll. Nothing can modify a leap roll. You're just going over someone's head. It's more risky than most elf players like to do, but it does mean that they can just escape your cage if you block them in tightly. It's usually a good idea with elves to try and leave a few guys in the back so that if they leap, they've then got to try and dodge out again, or you can try and hurt them in some way. Loner, as we expect, multiple block, which does what it says on the tin. He can block more people. Shadowing, which allows him to stay close to people, and stab, which allows him to stab people. I believe the stab roll goes straight to an armor roll rather than rolling to knock him out or hit him and then getting past his armor. No, sorry, goes straight to the damage roll rather than having to roll to get past his armor. Rather, basically, you're getting through a chink in his armor. With his cost of 210,000, he's very expensive. But with his movement allowance of 7, his agility of 4. He's going to be where you want him to be. He's going to be very, very useful. He's going to move up and down the pitch, and you're going to be able to really place him where he needs to be, when he needs to be there. And you can't underestimate the ability to move up and down the pitch. All the special weapons, all the skills in the world are rubbish if the ball's one end of the pitch and you're the other. Nothing works if you're not where you need to be. That's how dwarfs beat elves. You've got next the Swift twins, who are available for Elven, Union, High Elf, and Wood Elf. Not that I've ever used them. They're basically they're pretty, they're gorgeous, they're amazing, and they're probably the subject of much Rule 34. If you're a young kid watching this and you don't know what Rule 34 is, good, you shouldn't. If you're an older person watching this and you don't know what Rule 34 is, yeah, probably good as well. They cost 390,000 gold pieces. They're one of the most expensive, if not the most expensive, special player you can get, but you do get 2 of them. So you've got one that's 150, 60, 70, that's 170,000 each. 175,000 each. Sorry, maths. A little late at night, didn't sleep well last night. Got a cold. My kids got a cold. Everything's fine. You've got Lucien and Valen because, you know, why wouldn't you? You will notice a lot of these names are a bit, well, I think it was too cool for school. That's because they were done in the 80s and then, you know, late 80s, early 90s, when the term edgelord was being invented. So nobody thought about names being slightly more reasonable and nobody cared. And there wasn't this sort of trope of everybody being called Gabriel Darkfish or whatever the heck the latest edgelord name was, because they were inventing edgelords. Yeah, the 90s, where long trench coats became a thing. Anyway, and with Blood Bowl, no one cares because it's meant to be daft. Yes, you can get some of these guys, you know, Hawk-on Heartripper, the Swift twins. They sound weird, they sound cheesy, but they're meant to. They're meant to really capture the over-the-top, kind of American feeling with a little British grittiness. It's definitely a British feeling game, but kind of the very amazing and cool American feeling that was American professional football in the 80s. And it's probably American professional football now. It's just in the 80s, this is the first time we've seen people just smashing into each other like that. Anyway, yeah, you've got some basics about the Swift twins and about what they are. Well, in case you're wondering what this is, this book comes with an amazing little ribbon. It's a thing they used to on books all the time, but anyway, this book comes with a nice little ribbon to let you keep pages. You've got their basic background profile. Skill-wise, you've got 2 sets of skills, so they will work in different places. Lucien Swift comes with block, loner, mighty blow, and tackle. Block allows you to block people. Tackle allows you to neutralise block. No, sorry, tackle allows you to neutralise dodge. If someone's dodging you, you tackle them to the ground, their dodge doesn't count. So you've got a good chance of taking them down. He's got movement allowance of 7, strength 3, agility 4, and an armor value of 8, which is high for an elf. Elves often have an armor value of 7. That doesn't sound like much, but the average roll on 2d6 is 7. So you only have to be 1 roll above average to break through an elf's armor. Whereas with this guy, you have to be a couple rolls above average. And you may think, oh, it's only 1, but in fact, every extra you add, every extra point number you roll actually increases the difficulty of taking it out significantly. Valen Swift comes with accurate, loner, nerves of steel, pass, safe throw, and sure hands. Accurate increases your increases your roll when passing. Sure hands means you can re-roll if you fail a pickup. I'm just going to check that nerves of steel. Obviously, pass allows you to re-roll when passing. Player ignores modifiers for enemy tackle zones when attempting to pass, so he can be right in the nasty and still throw the ball out. He'll then probably get pummeled, which, considering his cost, you really want to make sure you're getting your bang for the buck there. And where are we? Safe throw. Safe throw. Players next to throwing the ball. If someone tries to intercept the ball, the safe throw player may make an unmodified agility roll with an agility of 4 and cancel out that interception. So basically, he can outthrow, he can throw from and through people with minimal risk. So yeah, they're very good, they're very effective, and they're very nasty. Next, we've got Bo Gallant, who's a high elf player. He is basically the pretty boy of Blood Bowl. Got a little bit of fluff there, a little bit called the sharpest tongue around, where he's just insulting people. The bit on his background and his career, as usual. He's 160 gold pieces, so not too expensive, but still not cheap. He's got dodge, loner, sidestep, sprint, and sure feet. Sure feet means, dodge means he can avoid being taken down by that dice, by the player trips dice roll. Sidestep means that when he gets shoved, you choose where he gets shoved. not your opponent, so they can move through him, but what they can't do is take him out of position unless you want them to. Sprint allows you to roll an extra go for it, so you get 3 goes for it. This guy has a movement allowance of 8, so that's 8, 9, 10, 11, and that's on go for it, which are 2-up rolls. Short feet. Let me just check what short feet is. The player may reroll a d6 if they are knocked down when trying to go for it. Yeah, so he gets 3 goes for it, and he gets a reroll on one of those go for it. So separate of your team rerolls, which is good because he's a loner. So yeah, he's very effective. He's very likely to be able to get places. He's got dodge, which gives him some protection. Sidestep, which means if he gets shoved, he's not going to go out of place. He is still, his immune allowance 8, he's strength 3, agility 4, which is good, but still armor value 7. So like most Elven players, you want to consider and reduce the likelihood of him taking that block. Willow Rosebark. I have an entire team based around Willow Rosebark. I'll try and show it to you at some point. Willow Rosebark is a my brain is just, god damn it. Dryad, thank you. Willow Rosebark is a Dryad. As you can see, she is a beautiful, sensual looking woman who will kill you. Dryads can change form supposedly from beautiful, slender women into these spike-filled bark beasts. They are the avengers of the forest, even more than wood elves are. She's vicious, she's brutal. I've got an entire Blood Bowl team based around. Actually, I'm just going to pause the video and go again. Hi guys, I'm back. This dude is my tree man. Let's see if I can get you to focus on him. No? He's fairly awesome. That's a conversion I did myself. If you're wondering, it's Dryad, head and the hands, and some of the leaves on the back, on top of a group model which is available, which was available from a company called Night Miniatures. I don't know if it's still available now. Here's one of effectively my war dancers. And here's one of my throwers. You can see she's got a ball there. And here's one of my standard blockers. I can tell what they are because of the poses and because of the stuff. And I use little coloured bands, as many players do, to identify the skills that they possess, so that my opponents can readily recognise and see what they do. You'll see if you haven't played Blood Bowl in tournaments or anything like that, you'll see these quite regularly, little elastic bands around them, skill bands they're called, which just allow people to instantly see and know what they're going up against and free you up to do some wacky conversions. That I use them as count as wood elves. I don't use any of them as Willow Rosebark because it would be confusing. But yeah, she's got a background. She's really cool. I say she's a plant, so I guess they present as female, or they identify as female, or whatever. But in fact, they are both genders because plants are both genders. They have both stamen and heracema. So there you go. Willow has Dauntless, Loner, Sidestep, and Thick Skull. Thick Skull meaning she's hard to damage. Sidestep, as we discussed, she decides where she goes. Dauntless, basically she matches the strength of any player she goes against. So instead of getting one dice or so, just it basically she gets equal the strength. Bear with me, I'm just actually going to go and get the specifics of that rule because it is a very it is a very nasty rule. I've seen halflings with Dauntless will rip ogres' heads off. Where are we? DDD for Dauntless. DAU. When the skill is used, the player with the Dauntless roll rolls d6 and adds it to their strength. If the total is equal or lower than the opponent's strength, the player may block using the normal strength. If the total is greater, the opponent accounts as having strength equal to their opponents when they make a block. So you're equaling the opponent with 1 assist or 2 dicing up. That's when you start getting goblins kicking the crud out of ogres. It's fun. And as an elf, she's got she's available for Amazons, halflings, and wood elves. She's not an elf, so she has movement allowance of 5, meaning she's going to be quite slow. But with Dauntless, with a size that, and with a thick skull, she's not going to be terrible at holding the line. She's got strength 4, makes her tougher than most guys, means she's going to be rolling higher than most of your average players. And with the Dauntless, and a bit of assistance, she's going to be smacking down your bigger heavies, your rat ogres, your trolls, and that. Agility 3, so she's not as agile as your elf team, so you've really got to be aware of the difference between her and your elves. And then armor value 8, again, she's tougher than your average elf. Makes her really quite good. Next, we've got Karla Vaughn. Human female protagonist. Again, you've got a nice bit telling you give you flavor text of what she is, a bit of the history of her career in Blood Bowl. She has block, dauntless, dodge, jump up, and loner. So again, block allows you to re-roll or ignore block rolls on the dice. Dauntless, we've just gone through that, so she can handle it with the best of them. Dodge, again, that allows you to re-roll dodges or ignore the dodge roll on the dice. Jump up is a really good skill. A lot of people underestimate it. If she gets knocked down, she can get up with 0 movement cost, so she can move and charge at her full movement, so you don't have to lose that 3. If she gets knocked down, she can come straight back up to her feet and be a threat. She's available for Amazon, Halfling, Human, and Norse. She's got a good wide team sweat there. Oh, damn it. Idiot, sorry. Just going back to Willow, she's 150,000 gold pieces, in case you're wondering. This is a terrible fucking video. My apologies, a little tired, got a cold, soldering through. Anyway, Karla Vaughn, 220,000 gold pieces, making her quite expensive, but with all those abilities, that's not bad. Movement allowed of 6, she's quite nippy for a human. Strength 4, she is stronger than your average human. She can go toe-to-toe with a Black Orc without any problem. Agility 3, which is standard, and armor value 8, which is respectable. Moving on to Helmut Wolf. Helmut Wolf is basically a psychopath with a chainsaw. A little bit about who he is, a little bit about his background. It sounds very silly. It sounds a bit more boring than it actually is. He's actually a reasonably interesting character, but he literally is just a psycho with a chainsaw. He doesn't care about playing. He likes carving people up. He's got chainsaw, loner, secret weapon, and stand firm. Again, stand firm meaning he can avoid being moved. Secret weapon meaning on the set roll of secret weapon, he will get sent off the pitch. Chainsaw, which I will just go and get the skinny on chainsaw for you because we haven't done it for. Play arm with the chainsaw. Where are we? When the chainsaw is used to make an attack, roll a 6 instead of the block dice. So on a roll of 2 or more, the chainsaw hits the opposing player, but on a roll of 1, it kicks back and hits the wielder instead. Make an arm roll for the player by adding hit by the chainsaw by adding 3 to the score. If the roller beats the victim is knocked down and injured. Roll on the injury table. It's a vicious secret weapon meant for taking out other players. If you see Karla Vaughn kill, if you see the Swift brothers, Helmut's the guy you want to be charging them because he'll take them off the pitch. Yeah, he's vicious. He's 110,000. You may think, oh, he sounds really cool for 110,000. It's the secret weapon that brings the cost down because you will get sent off the pitch with secret weapon. You only get a certain amount of use out of them. Otherwise, they would just be broken. They're crazy good and they're crazy. Movement allowed at 6, which means he's going to be able to move around the pitch reasonably. He's got a strength of 3, an agility of 3, and an armor value of 8, meaning he's reasonably tough, he's reasonably strong, and he's reasonably agile. The strength is not going to make that much difference because he's not going to be using it when he charges. He's going to be using his chainsaw. Now we've got Ripper Bolgrot as our next one. Nice vicious green skin troll, weighing in at 9 foot 3 inches, which is nothing to be sneezed at. You can see him there, preparing to kill or be killed by an Orc Slayer, who knows. A bit on his background, sorry, twitching now, apologies. A bit on his career. Skills wise, he's got Grab, Loner, Mighty Blow, Regeneration, and Throw Teammate. Throw Teammate is exactly what it sounds. Regeneration means when you take him down, he will regenerate, he will get back up. He's got a good chance of getting back on the pitch unless you kill him outright. Grab we've gone through earlier, and Mighty Blow means that on a roll of, you get to add +1 to either your strength or your armor. Or is it just your armor penetration? I think it's just your armor penetration. Might be just your strength, not sure. He's available for the Goblin and Orc teams, weighing in at a colossal 270,000 gold pieces. What do you want, dog? Sorry, give me a second. My dog just was letting out. Sorry. Here you. Yeah, Roxy, come here. Leave the cats alone. So yeah, 270,000. He's quite expensive. Movement allowance of 4. He's slow, but then again, so are most of the big guys. Got a strength of 6, which is very respectable. Again, there are stronger big guys like the Treeman and that, but he's still going to be hitting most people. An agility of 1, you do not want him catching the ball, you do not want him dodging, and an armor value of 9, meaning he's very survivable. He's going to basically be the core of your. Excuse me. Sorry, my dog. He's going to be like the anchor of your line. He's going to be there. He's going to stay unmovable. He's going to hold it down, and he's going to punch a big hole through for your better, more skilled guys to actually, well, not better, but your more skilled guys to actually go and do their scoring. He's very good. Yeah, and as I say, available to Goblins and Orcs. Next, we've got Scrapper Sorehead. He's a Goblin star player. He's very nice. As with all the rest, bit of background on him, bit of background on his career. He's got Dirty Player, Dodge, Leap, Loner, Right Stuff, Sprint, Stunty, Sure Feet, and very long legs. It's worth noting that Right Stuff means he's a great combo. He's a great combo with Ripper Bolgrot because it allows him to be thrown. He's 3 foot 8 inches, which is a good height for a goblin. Let's get to those things. Dodge, again, we've gone through that. Leap means that if he's in the wrong place, he can leap over with an unmodified agility roll. He has an agility of 3, so the unmodified roll is going to be a 4. You've got a 50-50, well, you've got just below a 50-50 chance of making it. Yeah. It's not bad. No, it's just 50. It's 50-50, yeah. It's not bad. You've got a good chance of making it. I wouldn't risk it unless you really think you've got a good payout for it. Sprint. Again, he gets to go an extra. He gets to go an extra square with go for it, so he gets 3 go for it. And again, there's always a risk of rolling that one. If you're ever going for it, try and make sure you have a team reroll in reserve. Unfortunately, with this guy, because he's got Loner, you're going to have to roll a dice, beat a 4, or get a 4 up to then get the reroll. So he's risking. No, tell a lie. He's got Sure Feet. Sorry, he has Sure Feet, so you will get a free reroll from him to go with that. With that leap. Yeah, they've done that. That's cool. I'm just going to go through the rules we haven't discussed before with Dirty Player and very long legs. Yeah. Very long legs. The player is allowed to add 1 to the D6 roll whenever they attempt to intercept or use the leap skill. So he's actually going to be rolling, he's actually going to be dodging on 3 ups, which is much better and much safer. Still a fair risk of failure, but not as bad as 50-50. In addition, the safe throw skill may not be used to affect any interceptions made by this player, which is nice. And dirty player, which is going to be right at the front. The player with the skill has train long and hard for an everyday trick. Add 1 to any armor roll or injury roll made by this player with this skill when they take a foul as part of a foul action. So whether we want to risk rolling a double with him is another matter. But if you do, he's got a little bit extra throw in there. He's 150,000, so he's not too expensive. He's got a movement allowed of 7, meaning that's 7, 8, 9, 10. He's got a potential 10 squares to go with his go for it. He's got a strength of 2, so you're going to want to avoid combat if you can. He's got an agility of 3, not too bad, and an armor value of 7, meaning he is going to be squishy. We are moving on to the last special player, Madcap Mix. Sorry, my cats are winding up my dog. They're running around under my feet. Where are we? We've got, again, stop it, Roxy. Sit! Sit! Enough. We've got some basic, get back here and sit right now. Okay, go to your bed, that's good enough. Yeah, sit, 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 stay. Anyway, she's a lovely dog. Bit of a description there, giving you some feelings of what he is. And again, the highlights of his career. And he's a squig, which makes him, to my mind, the coolest player in the entire game. He's available for goblins and underworld denizens, which is nice. He has break, tackle, claws, leap, loner, no hands, very long legs, and wild animals. Loner and wild animals and no hands are negative skills. No hands means he can't catch balls, he can't make passes. Loner, obviously we've gone through, you have to get a 4-up to be able to use team rerolls. And wild animal's not so bad. It's a bit like stupid in that you need to roll before he does anything, but it's a 4-up roll to do any normal stuff except blocking or blitzing. If you're blocking and blitzing, you roll wild animal and you need to get a 2-up. So really, you want to be hitting with this character as many turns as you can, or not worrying about using him. Obviously, if you haven't got a block or a blitz, try and use him, but don't worry about. Don't worry, but you don't want to have to rely on him moving. If you have to rely on him moving and he fails that wild animal roll, he's just going to sit there and pick his nose. Yep. He's got leap we've been through. He's got break, tackle, claw we've been through, but break, tackle we haven't. Stay there. Stay there. Sit. Sit. Yeah, you're damn right you're sitting down. I'm going to pick her up in a minute and show it to you. Break, tackle. Player may use their strength instead of agility for making dodge rolls. So he actually has the ability to get out of people's dodge zones when trying to hit. So you will be able to hit where you want rather than having to hit the closest guy to you. That's not too bad. Given that his strength is 4, he's mostly going to be using 2-ups to smash his way out of people's tackle zones. He's got a movement allowed of 6, which means he's reasonably fast. Strength of 4, as I just said. Agility of 3. He's not too agile. He's not too agile. And he doesn't have a stand firm, so your leap is going to be a bit dodgy, but he's a squig. What do you want? He's got very long legs, so he's got those abilities there, which will help. But yeah, and he's got an armor value of 8, which means he's reasonably tough. And he's 170,000 gold pieces, so again, not too cheap, not too expensive, about the middle mark for special players. But he's also a squig. There's a Squid model coming out sometime, if it's not already out by the time you watch this video. He's going to be awesome. It's just funny. It kind of embodies the ridiculousness of Blood Bowl and the silly stuff you get in Blood Bowl. And if you wanted to use another animal or something silly, he's a perfect one to have accounts as for a war dog or something like that. I'm only saying that 'cause I'm stroking my dog right now. Okay, and before we go, as promised, Roxy, come here. I'm just going to bring you down and show you. This is my beautiful girl, Roxy. Say hello. Roxy, look at me. Yeah, I do treat my dog stupidly, sorry. It's not even my dog, it's my daughter's dog. I just love dogs. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I hope you find it useful. And I hope... Oh, God, I'm going to be attacked by kittens now. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you find it useful. And I hope to see you again in the next video. Thanks very much. Bye-bye. This is a kitten. She's stalking me, about to attack. Say hello. You don't care, do you? Bye-bye, guys. Hi guys, hope you enjoyed that video, and if you did, remember to like and subscribe to my channel. I'm also on Facebook and Twitter. Not sure why, but I am. So if you like it, see me there, and please tell your friends. Thanks very much. Bye.